The text message arrived at 3:17 a.m. Emma stared at her phone, the blue light illuminating her tear-stained face in the darkness of her bedroom. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way," wrote a woman she'd never met. "But he's been married to me for 12 years. We have 3 children together. You deserve to know the truth." Before we continue with Emma's heartbreaking journey, if you're enjoying this story, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more compelling real-life stories that might just save you from making the same mistakes others have made. Your support helps us share these important stories with more people who might need to hear them. Emma Sullivan had always been the careful one. The planner. The woman who made lists and checked them twice. At 37, she believed she had finally rebuilt her life after a devastating divorce 5 years earlier. Her ex-husband's gambling addiction had cost them everything, their savings, their home, and ultimately, their marriage. She'd promised herself she would never be so blind again, never trust so completely. Yet here she was, staring at proof that history had repeated itself in the cruelest way imaginable. She met Michael Donovan at a friend's dinner party 13 months ago. He was charming, successful, and seemed refreshingly honest. A financial consultant who traveled frequently for work, he explained early on that his schedule was unpredictable. Emma appreciated his directness. After her ex-husband's constant lies, Michael's apparent transparency felt like a breath of fresh air. "I'm not looking for anything casual," she had told him on their third date, sitting across from him at a quiet Italian restaurant. "I've been through enough to know what I want and what I don't." Michael had reached across the table and taken her hand. His eyes, those kind, lying eyes, had held hers steadily. "I want what you want, Emma. Something real. Something that lasts." The memory of those words now made her stomach turn. She scrolled through the rest of the messages from Vanessa Donovan, Michael's wife. Photos of their wedding. Pictures of their children, 2 boys and a girl, ages 10, 8, and 5. A family vacation taken just 3 weeks ago, when Michael had told Emma he was at a financial conference in Chicago. Emma's hands trembled as she set down her phone. The bedroom around her, the bedroom where she and Michael had made love just yesterday, suddenly felt contaminated. She wrapped her arms around herself, trying to hold the pieces together as her world crumbled for the second time. The next morning, Emma called in sick to the architectural firm where she worked as a project manager. She spent hours verifying Vanessa's claims, though in her heart, she already knew they were true. Michael's social media accounts were carefully curated to show no trace of his family life. But with Vanessa's information, Emma found everything: the separate Facebook account under a slightly different name, the family photos on Vanessa's Instagram, the community newsletter mentioning Michael coaching his son's Little League team in a suburb 40 miles away. For 13 months, she had been the other woman without knowing it. For 13 months, she had been falling in love with a phantom. When her doorbell rang that evening, Emma knew who it was before checking. Michael stood on her porch, his face drawn with worry that she now recognized as fear, not concern for her, but fear of being exposed. "You haven't been answering my calls," he said when she opened the door. "I was worried." Emma studied him, seeing him clearly for the first time. The slight tan line where his wedding ring usually sat. The practiced sincerity in his expression. How had she missed these details? "Your wife contacted me," she said simply, watching the color drain from his face. "Vanessa seems lovely. Your children are beautiful." Michael's shoulders slumped. He didn't deny it, another surprise. "Emma, please. Let me explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been living 2 separate lives. How you've been lying to me, and to them, for over a year." Her voice remained steady, though she felt anything but calm. "There's nothing to explain, Michael. Nothing that could possibly make this okay. My marriage has been over for years," he began, the words tumbling out with practiced ease. "We stay together for the kids. Vanessa and I have an understanding." "Stop. Emma held up her hand. Vanessa didn't seem to understand that her husband was building a life with another woman. She thought you were working late all those nights you spent with me. Michael's excuses died on his lips. For a moment, he looked almost relieved to stop pretending. I never meant to hurt you. But you did mean to deceive me, Emma replied. Every day, with every lie, that was a choice you made. She closed the door on him then, leaning against it as she heard his footsteps retreat down her porch steps. Only when she heard his car pull away did she allow herself to slide to the floor and finally break down. The weeks that followed were a blur of grief, anger, and shame. Emma alternated between blaming herself for being so gullible and raging at Michael for his betrayal. She took 2 weeks off work, unable to face colleagues who had met Michael at company events, who had commented on how happy she seemed with him. Her sister Olivia flew in from Seattle, arriving with a suitcase full of comfort foods and a fierce determination to help Emma through this. I should have known better, Emma said one night, curled up on her couch with a glass of wine. After everything with David, I should have seen the signs. Olivia shook her head firmly. This isn't on you, Em. Some people are just exceptionally good liars. They make deception their life's work. But I missed so many red flags. The mysterious business trips. The way he never invited me to his place. How he was always unavailable on holidays. He had explanations for all of those things, Olivia reminded her. His condo was being renovated. His company required holiday coverage from senior staff. He showed you hotel confirmations for his trips. Fake confirmations, Emma said bitterly. I found out he has a friend who works at a hotel chain who helped him create them. Olivia took her sister's hand. Listen to me. You're not stupid for trusting someone who worked very hard to appear trustworthy. That's on him, not you. But Emma couldn't shake the feeling that she had failed herself. She had promised after her divorce that she would never again ignore her instincts, yet she had dismissed the small doubts that occasionally surfaced about Michael's life. She had wanted so badly to believe that she had finally found someone worthy of her trust that she had blinded herself to the inconsistencies. 3 months after discovering Michael's deception, Emma received another unexpected message, this time from Vanessa Donovan, asking to meet in person. Against her better judgment, Emma agreed. They met at a quiet cafe halfway between their homes. Vanessa was smaller than she appeared in photos, with tired eyes and a determined set to her jaw. Emma was struck by how different they looked, Vanessa with her dark hair and petite frame, Emma tall and blonde. They were opposites in appearance, yet they shared the same wounded expression. Thank you for meeting me, Vanessa said after they had ordered coffee. I know this is strange. Strange doesn't begin to cover it, Emma replied, surprised by the lack of animosity she felt toward this woman. But I appreciate your message. If you hadn't reached out, I might still be living in ignorance. Vanessa nodded, turning her coffee cup in small circles. I found out about you by accident. Michael left his laptop open, and I saw your text messages. It wasn't the first time he's done this. Emma felt a chill. There have been others. 3 that I know of over our marriage. Each time, he swore it was over, that he would get help. Vanessa's eyes met Emma's. I stayed for the children. And because I loved him, or thought I did. But I've filed for divorce now. I'm sorry, Emma said, meaning it. Don't be. You didn't know about me. From what I've seen, he told you he was single. Vanessa took a deep breath. I wanted to meet you because I thought we both deserved closure. And because I wanted you to know that his behavior isn't a reflection on either of us. They talked for nearly 2 hours, piecing together the elaborate web of lies Michael had constructed to maintain his double life. The separate phone. The fictional business trips. The friend who allowed Michael to use his address for mail. It was both impressive and disturbing how methodically he had compartmentalized his existence. He's seeing someone new already, Vanessa revealed as they prepared to leave. Some woman he met at a conference last month. I considered warning her, but... She shrugged helplessly. It wouldn't matter, Emma finished for her. If she's where I was a year ago, she wouldn't believe you. They parted with an awkward hug, two women connected by the same painful experience. Emma watched Vanessa walk to her car, wondering if she would ever fully recover from the damage Michael had inflicted on both their lives. 6 months after discovering Michael's betrayal, Emma found herself sitting across from her therapist, Dr. Melissa Chen, in a sunlit office overlooking the city park. I'm thinking about dating again, Emma admitted, surprising herself with the words. Dr. Chen raised an eyebrow. What's brought this on? Emma considered the question. I don't want to let what Michael did define the rest of my life. I don't want to give him that power. That's a healthy perspective, Dr. Chen nodded. But are you ready to trust again? That's just it, I don't know if I'll ever fully trust anyone again. And maybe that's okay. Emma leaned forward. Maybe complete trust isn't the goal. Maybe awareness is. Over the past months, Emma had done the difficult work of examining her patterns. With Dr. Chen's guidance, she had recognized how her fear of being alone after her divorce had made her vulnerable to someone like Michael. She had confronted her tendency to ignore red flags in relationships, her habit of filling in gaps with optimistic assumptions rather than asking difficult questions. I think I've been approaching relationships all wrong, Emma continued. I've been looking for certainty, for someone to prove they're trustworthy beyond any doubt. But that's impossible. Trust isn't something you can demand or verify completely. It's a risk you choose to take, with your eyes open. Dr. Chen smiled. That's quite an insight, Emma. So what does dating look like for you now, with this new perspective? Slower, Emma said immediately. More deliberate. I won't ignore inconsistencies or dismiss my intuition. But I also won't approach every new person as a potential liar. That's no way to live. 2 weeks later, Emma accepted a dinner invitation from Julian, a landscape architect she had met through a professional networking event. He was divorced with a teenage daughter he co-parented with his ex-wife. On their first date, Emma was both more cautious and more direct than she would have been before Michael. I've had some difficult experiences with dishonesty in relationships, she told Julian over dinner. So I value transparency, even when it's uncomfortable. Julian nodded thoughtfully. That makes sense. My ex-wife and I had communication problems for years before we finally admitted our marriage wasn't working. I learned the hard way that avoiding difficult conversations only makes things worse in the long run. Emma appreciated his response, but she didn't immediately assume it meant he was trustworthy. Instead, she allowed herself to enjoy his company while remaining aware that only time would reveal his true character. Their relationship progressed slowly. Emma met Julian's daughter, Zoe, after they had been dating for 2 months. She was introduced to his ex-wife at one of Zoe's soccer games. She verified the details Julian shared about his life not out of paranoia, but as part of her new approach to relationships, trust, but verify. A year after her world had imploded with that 3:17 a.m. text message, Emma sat on her patio with her sister Olivia, watching the sunset with glasses of wine in hand. So things are still good with Julian? Olivia asked. Emma smiled. They are. It's different from anything I've experienced before. More honest, even when it's difficult. Maybe especially when it's difficult. And you trust him? Emma considered the question. I trust him as much as I trust anyone. Which is to say, I trust him day by day, based on his actions and his consistency. But I also trust myself now, to see clearly, to ask questions, to walk away if necessary. Olivia raised her glass. To trusting yourself first. And to second chances, Emma added, clinking her glass against her sister's. Not just in love, but in life. To believing that one person's deception doesn't have to poison everything that comes after. Later that night, as Emma prepared for bed, her phone chimed with a text from Julian. Just wanted to say good night and that I'm looking forward to our hike tomorrow. Sleep well. Emma smiled at the simple message. There were no guarantees in life or in love, she knew that better than most. Michael's betrayal had taught her that even the most convincing facade could hide devastating secrets. But it had also taught her something more valuable, that surviving betrayal was possible. That healing, though painful and slow, could lead to wisdom rather than bitterness. She texted Julian back, "Good night. See you tomorrow," and set her phone aside. Whatever the future held, Emma was facing it with open eyes and a stronger sense of self than she had ever possessed before. The woman who had once been devastated by deception had transformed her pain into something powerful, the courage to risk loving again, not despite her past, but because of it. As Emma drifted off to sleep, she realized that the most important relationship she had rebuilt wasn't with Julian or any other man, it was with herself. And that relationship, built on hard-won self-knowledge and compassion, was one that no deception could ever destroy again. If this story resonated with you, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind us all that even after our deepest heartbreaks, healing and hope are always possible. Sometimes the most painful chapters of our lives become the foundation for something stronger and more authentic than we ever thought possible. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.